This video is sniping positions for World of Tanks. This is an ambush position. You can see that I can spot the heavy tanks as they cross through here, do damage to them. There's actually a lot of positions you can use, but you want to find something that gives you the most cover. You want to be forward most as much as possible, and I use that all the time. So over here you can see that I've got clear shots. I've tried a bunch of different positions, but you've got clear shots of enemy tanks. Look at where I was playing in this area and look at where I can hit up on the hill. And if he reverses, you still can blind fire and you can guess where the conqueror is. You know he's going to be right there. In this case, you can sit in this location and you can snipe the cap. Right now I'm pointed at the 50 TP that's on that cap. You can see there's a white circle right over here and it's coming around. So if you need to reset the cap, you don't have to go all the way back to base. You just have to come to this position. If you are advancing on this side or for any reason want to shoot at enemy tanks over here, you've got all these hull down positions over here. You notice that the Yagdi Tiger is behind me, and then the M41 might also be in a hull down position, but there's these great positions you can use. In this case, I'm on the defending team and I drove this way. I came all the way down and I came all the way behind, got up on this hill, and I can shoot at tanks that are up here on this island. So this is another position you want to be aware of. In this case, you can see that I'm hitting that tank. He's over here and he's shooting at the STB-1, and I didn't have to get close to him. I just found a great position where I can hit him through that gap. And there's a lot of positions. Now here's a gap I found through the buildings. You can't really hit anything through it. This is a hull down position. When you're playing over here, the Carnarvon can go over here and play over here. You should just come up over here, be hull down, get lots of damage blocked by armor. That's what it looks like. This is a spotting bush. You can see that you've got a wide range. You're not going to spot the tanks as they cross here going north, and you're not going to spot anyone that crosses here. You have to move a little bit closer to the enemy. In this position, you can see that you can shoot through the buildings. I got 829 spotting damage on the VK, which is right here, and I hit the ST1, and I hit him through this gap. There's gaps. There's so many gaps. There's got to be like 5 or 6 gaps between this block and this block that you can line up on. You shoot them through here, and then you move to the next block and hit them again, move to the next block and hit them again. This is a position I've been using often. You see how you've got these clear shots? The T10 and the defender this is the defender, and I don't know where the T10 is, but you can see you've got clear shots through here. I usually don't play this far back. I usually play a little bit forward more. Play it often. And not only that, but there's other positions. You see over here there's an opening. Believe it or not, where this building is, where the L shape is, there's another opening. It's very small, and I'd be able to hit the Super Conqueror and the ISM if I parked over here on this hill. Notice that it says Centurion Action X. I caused him damage. Look at where he is on the minimap. He drove up this hill, and I hit him from this building. From this building, you see how there's a little triangle on the road right here? You can hit this cap. So this is a key position where you can shoot at tanks this way, shoot at tanks this way. This is a position on El Haluf. He's the last tank in the game. They did eventually find him, but it took a long time. It took him like 5 minutes to find him. He could have parked a little bit better. This is a position where you actually can shoot over this bunker, and you can hit the heavy tanks. You can hit the tanks over here where the setter is, and you can hit some of the tanks that are down here, and you can reposition if you have to. Here's a tank that's up here. This is a great position. Here's a tank that's where the heavy tanks show up. You can see that I moved, and you can see the view down below. And here's another example of one of the tanks up above. So this is a good tank if you want to cover a lot of different areas. I really didn't check out here in the field, but you're probably not going to hit anything out there in the field. This is an example. Look at where the T-71 is and where I am. I'm not in the best position, uh, but maybe if you reposition, you can help a little bit. I'm just showing that from here you can shoot across. It looks like you'd be able to hit those tanks if they were in the wrong position. I don't think it's the perfect position. I'm going to keep trying. Now, in this case, this is my ally. Look at where he's coming up. If I were defending, you can hit him from this cluster of rocks from down here, down below, without being spotted. You could also run across to here and shoot, but the reason why this is important is because I'm actually shooting over this rock. You don't have to go around it. Just sit over here and you can shoot at the enemy. If you're on the northern team, sneak down to here and you can hit those guys. And if one of the enemy comes over this way, you could do the same. You can also park down here if you're on the southern team and you want to snipe at the northern team over here. Get a little bit closer than the Scorpion, and you can hit some of those tanks over there. This is a position, it shows that these enemy tanks, if they try to cross over, I might be able to hit them from over here. I didn't do it in this game for whatever reason, but it's something that you might want to try. I'll investigate it in the future. I believe that this is the entrance to the center hill on mines. I'm not sure. Look at where I am. If you're playing on the island, come over to this position, stop here, look through this gap, check to see, watch the enemy tanks if they're coming across, and see if you can take shots at them. I will test this in the future, and it will be in a future video. This is just showing that I usually wait until the enemy crosses over here so I can get the best shot on his tank. This is a position. Look at where the enemy tanks are. You can hit those tanks. Look at where they are, and you can be over here, and these tanks are not going to see you, and these tanks over here are not going to see you. So if you rush out to here and you can do a lot of damage, you might want to try this position. They're going to be vulnerable. You can see that I caused 625 to the T30. This is a position that I like to play with this type of a tank. You can see you've got open shots. You know, the enemy's getting smart. They don't like to play this position anymore. Look at where I am on the mini-map. You don't have to go where the Emil is. You can come over here and climb up this little hill, and you can get shots over here. What I'm doing here, you see there's the bridge over here. A lot of enemy tanks end up in this area. I'm trying to find the ideal position to snipe across. I just happen to be testing this position. It's possible that from another position, there's another way to view through. I'm just showing you what it looks like from this particular position. This is a very interesting position. Look at where I am and look at the view. From here, you can move to where the S51 is, and you might be able to hit the Scorpion and the Super Hellcat and the KV4 right from there. But from this position, you can also hit all the way out here, which of course is defense. You can see you've got a clear view on this side, and you have a clear view of anybody that advances through the town. So this is a good position if you really don't know what to do and you have to defend, or if you want to go to where the S51 is, come back here, reposition over here. So you drive back and forth depending on where the enemy is spotted. You just keep driving back and forth between these positions, and this is a very good position. I will try it one of these days. I did play a game where an enemy tank played in this position. He got 7,000 damage, and he sent messages to everybody after the game laughing at us. I know that he was playing in these positions because I was watching where the shots were coming from and how he was killing everybody. He did it playing here. Okay, so that's it for this particular video. I'm going to go a little bit more about this particular one. There's a position here. There's another one that's right next to it, which has some slopes. And then there's another one with a house. You have to, in general, you're going to have to self-spot because your team is probably not going to spot for you. Each of the positions have their own benefits. The good thing about this one is you're less likely to be spotted. If the light tanks come after you, you have a better chance of running away. But then again, if you're playing on a light tank, you might want to be where the houses are, or I play where the little slopes are. Try out the different positions. Watch all my sniping position videos, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Over here, there's a position that is, there's a train over here, and where the train is, there's a flat rail car, and you can park next to the train and be hull down, and you can shoot over the rail car up onto the top. You can also shoot, I believe, from this diagonal road. If you park over here, I believe you can shoot up onto the hill, and you can watch over here. And obviously another good position is between these buildings and perhaps these buildings. But if you play between these buildings, you're going to get spotted a little bit more often. You can play between these buildings. You will get spotted more often. You won't have as clear of a view. And you could try playing over here where this building is next to the building. I try different positions and explore it. Unfortunately, I don't know if I reset cap in this particular game. It's possible that time ran out. I think that's what happened. Time ran out, so the game might actually be about to end with their victory, and I didn't get to fire my shot. I believe that that is what happened in this particular game. This one, not only is there a hull down position, you see all these bushes over here? This M41, he could drive through all these bushes and come all the way down to this bush over here and just sit over there. I have a game where I did it with an STB-1, and I was able to spot the entire field sitting over there. You've got all these bushes to do it in. And you can do it early in the game. If you can sneak through, just go through all these bushes and make it through there. And if you've got a low profile tank, you can do it also. This one, obviously, you have to be aware of what's going on. It is common. This used to be assault defend mode, and they had a defend cap, and this happened all the time. However, obviously, the enemy would also control this position, so it would have been more difficult. This is a rear-mounted gun, and it worked out well. I would not have been able to go to the top because of the rear-mounted gun. I wouldn't have the gun depression, but this is how I accommodated for it. And it looks like there's a hill over here which you might be able to use, or maybe even go up this hill. I chose it because it looks like it's hull down. This is just an example of how I study different positions to see if I can find something. This one I only played probably once in the past couple of years. I prefer to play where this building is because you can spot more tanks. The enemy's less likely to come around. You won't be able to shoot at them. I mean, you can shoot at them from up here, but they'll be afraid to come around because they know they're spotted. But I also like to play on the other side of this building, and then you can shoot at the enemy, but it is dangerous. I do it often. The problem with this spotting position is that you won't be able to spot tanks that pass through here. So you really have to try another position. But when you play the game, you got to think real fast. And if you play one of these positions, the enemy might find you. So I need to do a little bit of work to see if I can find a better position. Like I said, there's many positions you can play. On this map, what you do is you come to where I'm pointing on the mini map and you spot through this gap, and as they cross, you move to where I'm pointing on the mini map and you shoot this way, and then you move to this position again and shoot through this road, and then you come here and shoot through here, and then you go to the next position, which is possibly over here, but you got to knock these down. They'll kind of be in your way, and you shoot through there, and then you go to where the object 140 and the object 257 are, and you shoot through that road. And I really am not sure if there's more gaps, but there's so many gaps in these buildings. You can keep hitting these tanks over and over and over again. I do have good games in the sense that you pin the enemy down. They are afraid to come out from the open. The other thing is, you see how there's a building here and there's a building here? You want to line up the buildings so that you have kind of a maximum view. There's a building here and a building behind it, and you want to do the same thing. Try to line them up as best you can so that you see the maximum view through the gap. And you can blind fire. This one, I usually rush out and get next to the building and then look for these tanks. I am going to tell you that the game has changed a little bit. People used to really enjoy climbing up that hill, but I don't think they do so much anymore. People used to use these all the time a long time ago. And I believe you used to actually go into the water, but they removed all those features because the SPG was using it all the time. The north has a position like this, which is where I'm pointing on the mini map, where you can hit like up here, you can hit down here, you can hit up here, many different positions. I only played this position once. You really got to test it and figure out which one. I've seen people like play behind the bush, between these things over here. I really think that this is going to be end up being the most versatile position, but you do have to keep them outside your spotting range. For this, I actually found where I'm pointing on the mini map, you get a better view of what's down below. Like these red tanks, you might be able to hit them from up along this ridge. The good thing about being over here is that you can really kind of watch what's going on if your team doesn't go on the beach. There's obviously a sniping position where the Foshby is. I've probably played there 2 or 3 times in the past 5 years because I really don't play the easy positions. And sometimes the positions that World of Tanks finds for you are not the best. It's very easy to cross over into these areas, but you do have to be careful because if the enemy knows you're there, they will come after you, especially if they have a lot of hit points and you're low on hit points or if they have a big gun. Very safe to be there. This I haven't tried yet. I look forward to trying it one day. From over here, in the corner, you can definitely hit through the opening. From the island, you can hit through the opening. From over here, you can hit through the opening. Not a very good view. And from this area over here, you can hit through the opening. There used to be able to hit everybody. They didn't have all these rocks over here and they had lots of gaps, but they blocked it all. They made it harder to do. It's somewhat of a risky position because if you do come out here and there's no enemy tanks, you really can't run back without a risk of being shot. You can cross the street and use this bush for cover to increase your chances of returning home, or you could dive over the side. Also, I believe that the Scorpion G might be able to shoot down here, but I'm not sure. And you probably want to use HE rounds when you hit the roofs of tanks. Like I said, this is a great position, but people just, they play the game. They're afraid to go over here now. So it doesn't work so well anymore. Now I usually play where the Super Conqueror is. I'll probably find better positions as I go along. This one, I only played it once, and I really don't know how it worked out, but it's something that you want to check out. This, I almost never have played over here. Played over here a small handful of times. I usually play where the T-29 is, or over here, and I snipe this way at these tanks over here. It's usually what I do. It works out well. This I really want to explore. When I have high latency and high packet loss, you see how it's red and I got 250 milliseconds. That's probably why I'm back here. Otherwise, I would be like in the B1 area, shooting over here. I found a new sniping position. I'm pointing to it on the minimap where you can shoot at the Scorpion G. It's kind of like over here, and it's kind of hull down. This is one of my favorite positions. If you have any questions or comments, please post below.